Okay, still September 10th, about 9:40, up to the sheriff's office to follow up with Mr. NICCO and, everyone else that I'm following up with. I'm here for Mr. NICCO.
I do not want to be recorded, please.
Is it against the law? Can you quote me the section?
I say I do not want to be recorded.
Oh, no, I don't want the law to be broken. Your point?
I have my rights, okay? So
In a public place, providing public services?
Yes, I do.
You do, and that supersedes my rights?
Please don't point that towards me.
Please quote me the law that disallows me that. All right, so Mr. NICCO or Mr. Winters, I'll be outside in the hallway waiting. Will you contact them for me, please? Anyway, so basically what's happening here is that Mr. NICCO is the legal counsel who, I tried to follow up with, who ignored me and who didn't make an appointment for me to come in and see him and videotape, the maltreatment. Now, if you've watched the prior videos of the Sunshine Task Force on 9/3, you will see where the Sunshine Task Force spanked the Sheriff's Department and the Department of Public Health for all the violations that they made in regard to my sunshine request and everything else. Now, had I been treated civilly, with any humanity, any respect, maybe they wouldn't have had to gotten spanked at the Sunshine Task Force. So I'm following up because, I'm still requesting the videos and the policies and a full explanation as to how everything was a failure, in regard to my illegal arrest at San Francisco General 11/27/13. Of course, those charges were dropped because they were bogus. Of course, as you know, I was never allowed to go in front of a judge to explain what had happened to me and how I'd been denied due process and how everything was rigged. Once again, I hope you're learning the games and watching the inhumanity. So, let us see if someone comes out. Mind you, there's no one here at the sheriff's office that's sometimes a public office and sometimes isn't, as I was told in the past. It's wonderful when they can tell you things that aren't true, that legally aren't correct, but what's the consequence? I have 2 years of videos here to show you that there's no consequence. Now, mind you, 11/27/12, I had a meeting with the sheriff in regard to all of this, in which I was basically, handled and played. And toward the end of the meeting, if you watch, I wanted to speak to him about how everything is rigged, set to fail, how the procedure is unaccountable, et cetera, et cetera. He said, well, let's get through this, and then, you can come back in and we can speak about the other things. If you've watched the prior videos, you've seen where I've continually tried to set up a meeting so that I can point out everything to him. But I guess when you know that it's rigged and the illusion must continue, that's why for the last, 2 years, I still haven't been contacted in regard to, the follow-up meeting so that I can point out the rigged methodology that I've been saying to him, that I tried to show the sheriff. Let us, like I said before, realize that they should have a sign over the door that basically says, all those who enter here should, abandon all hope because, this is rigged. Once again, as I've been told, even by everyone, is that the sheriff has sole jurisdiction over all the buildings of the Department of Public Health clinics, 101 Grove, 25 Van Ness, San Francisco General, and their security. They're not police. So they have the ability to circumvent your rights, but not to protect your rights. And when you try to get the police involved, the San Francisco Police Department, well, I think you could see the videos on how that game is played also. I think you'll see the videos where the LGBT liaison told me that, the sheriff had sole jurisdiction. And when I asked him, why were my rights abrogated to the sheriff without my consent? Well, I thought you've seen the response. None. It's a beautiful, rigged system. But when you're part of it, that's all that matters.